So... Oh, Aiden is already gone, so... Ah, come on. Let's take our fire elemental with us. Not leaving it behind.
Where am I?
And off we go.
What's going on?
I don't know.
I've been thinking on all that you learned below. If you've got your breath, we ought to discuss our next steps.
So many people want to talk to us. So, first...
Important matters to discuss.
Withers wants to talk, Jaheira wants to talk, Wyll wants to talk, Gale wants to talk. First things first. Hey, Gale. Where the heck is Minthara?
A wizard's quite worthless with a tired mind. Sleep beckons. I will follow.
Oh wow, Minthara's sitting on the throne.
I mean to learn from you.
Anyway, hey Gale.
I can't help but feel like I've been fumbling in the dark for too long. And I've just had a lit torch thrust into my hands.
Gale is tempted by power. You seem in a good mood. I thought you might be more subdued after coming close to blowing up.
Indeed. Under other circumstances, I might have been subdued or ashamed. But after what we saw, I must admit, I'm excited. The crown! The one the Elder Brain was wearing. The one I very nearly destroyed. Netherese magic. So pure, so complete, that I didn't even recognize it at first. Most Netherese artifacts contain only the faintest amount of their former power. The ghost of an echo of a memory. That crown was different. I can't fathom how such a wonder survived. Surely everything of its ilk was destroyed along with Netheril itself, but no matter. It exists. I must learn more of it.
Gale, I'm very happy you're all back up and running again, but... You nearly killed yourself back there. Perhaps take a moment?
I know what nearly happened, and I'm sorry for putting you in that position. But I've stepped back from the precipice now. I've seen what may prove to be another way. A better way. That crown sits on a gargantuan elder brain bent on destroying us and everything we hold dear. Understanding its true nature might unlock the means of our victory. We need to learn more about what we saw. An artifact as powerful as that crown must have been documented somewhere. As luck would have it, we'll soon find ourselves near one of the finest book collections this side of Candlekeep. Sorcerous Sundries. I need to go there and learn all I can.
Ever ambitious Gale. And looking at him now, you do realize how he went to find like some Netherese magic orb. Oh well. So you just want to go shopping. You know, let's just get to Baldur's Gate first of all.
Indeed. The journey awaits. One foot in front of the other is tried and true, I find. Their collection of rare tomes is unparalleled. Netherese texts are hardly commonplace, but I'm certain they'll have one or
So
two stashed
excited.
away. You'll have to forgive my eagerness, but if my suspicions prove to hold water, this could be the answer to all our problems.
Nice. Ah, he's so cute. Even if he wants to go for corruption and ambition.
I'm glad that's still the case.
Gods be damned. With that parasite in his brain, Father could wreak untold havoc in the Absolute's name. Should Baldur's Gate fall to the Absolute, every one of the coast cities will be ripe for the plucking. We're not just fighting for our cure. We're fighting for my father. We're fighting for the Gate. We're fighting for all of Faerûn.
I'm sorry, I was a little bit distracted. Did you see the bow? There was like a bloody arrow inside the bow. Is that supposed to be like that? Boy, we can ask him a lot. What do you know about Gortish and Orin?
Orin? I'd never heard tell of. But Gortash I know. Or know of, more precisely. A self-styled strategic advisor to Baldur's Gate's peers. A bit player with dreams of a leading role, the way Father told it. He had no use for Gortash, and even less for his advice. I don't remember much beyond that. But where these Chosen are concerned, I have a suspicion we're about to know more than we'd like.
Yeah, and I guess now that he's mind controlled, he will value Gortash's advice like way more. Minthara said you can tell what led to your pact in exile. It's time I know the whole truth.
Yes, but first a question. If your home were under siege, what would you sacrifice to save it?
I like that he basically just answered the question already. We don't have any memory, so we don't have any home, so... I wouldn't give up my soul if that's what you're getting at. I think the closest to reality would be the first one. But I mean, in the end, Lavender doesn't really have a home, cause no memories and all that, right? I'd give my life if it meant keeping the residents safe.
As would I. And more. I was 17. Father, older Ravengard, had just been named a Grand Duke and was called away to Elturel to help settle a dispute. That's when the Cult of the Dragon made its move.
The Cult of the Dragon, a fractured religion.
Some
believers hold that undead dragons will inherit the world. Others worship the dragon goddess Tiamat and intend to summon her to Faerûn.
There's a whole D&D campaign about that called Tyranny of Dragons. Never played it, but I'm curious about that one, because I mean, dragons. The Cult of the Dragon had infiltrated Baldur's Gate. To what end?
To conjure the Dragon Queen and lay waste to Baldur's Gate. A 10-day after Father left,
Summon Tiamat.
I heard a whisper as I slept. Duskhawk Hill. The Queen of Chaos awakens. Go alone. I grabbed a rapier and set out. There wasn't a cloud in the sky, yet not a single star was shining. There they were, gathered at the foot of the hill.
Your head tingles. Wyll wants to show you what happened.
I gotta say, in general, that's such a cool way of communication to just, like, show each other. But for that, the tadpole is kinda neat. 11 allows Wyll to share his memory with him.
In the looming shadow of the mount, 5 groups of 5 figures each encircle a lofty totem. Atop each totem, a dragon's head is carved, and a massive orb held in its mouth. The cultists chant, first softly, then crying to the starless sky. There is a crack of thunder, a gust of wind, and a dragon's white head appears in the storm. As the maelstrom howls, Mizora's lips press to your ear. She will destroy Baldur's Gate. Grant me your soul, and I will give you the power to save it, she whispers.
And she probably also sent the letter.
She read the terms while 2 devils stood witness. And I said yes. 1 soul for 1 city.
I mean, in the end, to save like a whole town from Tiamat, a little stupid, but pretty heroic, right? I mean, just think about like how many people would have died. Tiamat is not messing around, it's just destruction and chaos. Surely Mizora doesn't care about Baldur's Gate. Why would you want to save it? But maybe also to drive Tiamat back.
She didn't. She came on order of her mistress, Zariel. Tiamat made a play for power. Zariel had other plans. That was the most Mizora's ever said. All that mattered was that she got her prize.
Yeah, but also
Another
resides in
pet
Avernus,
added to
right?
her warlock menagerie.
And, I mean, who holds dominion over Avernus? Zariel. I'm just contemplating what Lavender would say. I think he would be quite torn between, like, okay, sometimes you have to do the bad decisions, the maybe even a little evil things to achieve the greater good. Like dealing with the devil. Sacrificing your soul to save the city was the brave thing to do.
I don't know that it was brave. I just know that it was right.
I mean,
The moment I
soul.
agreed, I burned with the fires of Avernus and oozed the rot of Dis. The cultists choked on our poisons and burned from our flames. And when we were done, all that remained were 5 greyed orbs atop a pile of ash.
Just by himself.
My soul was bound, and my lips were sealed.
Is that how you lost your eye? In the battle with the Cult of the Dragon?
It is the one scar I ever bore of it. Minthara replaced it with a sending stone. She uses it to track my location and speak from a distance. I could flee to the spine of the world, or the depths of the lower dark, and still never shake her.
Oh boy. But I guess with the right magic you could even do like the permanent locating your warlocks even without a sending stone. And what about your father, the Grand Duke?
He returned to an unsuspecting city and a wayward son with a smirking devil at his side. I tried to tell him the truth, but my mouth couldn't form the words. I'd led him to the battlefield, but Minthara had swept it clean.
Ah, damn.
I showed him my stone eye, but he only turned away. After, he said only one word. Go. So I did.
Oh, well. But yeah, you will also later see that Duke Ravengard doesn't win the Father of the Year award. Not even close. We return to the subject later, sounds like we're condescending parent. But I guess it's better than to just like turn around and leave. We return to the subject later.
I understand.
The Absolute cast as Ravengard. Where will they take him?
Worm's Rock Fortress. All travelers to Baldur's Gate flow through it. It serves as headquarters for the Flaming Fist and their commander, my father. The Absolute's army's on the march. Gods forbid a tadpole Grand Duke throw open the gates for them.
And I mean, he's not only the commander of the Flaming Fist, he's also Grand Duke. It's like the highest position in the city. You know, you must have been furious at your father for throwing you out of the city.
No, never. He did the only thing he could. In his eyes, I invited a devil into our midst. I was a fool at best, a traitor at worst. And Grand Duke Ravengard suffers neither.
Yeah. The irony of the third option. I suppose I can't blame him, for he knew you'd sprout horns any second. Like, well, that happened in the meantime. Oh my gosh, 4. If I were your father, I'd have killed you on the spot. He did you a favor by exiling you. Oof. Do you miss your father?
More than you know. The better question is, did he ever miss me? If he did, he missed the Wyll Ravengard he once knew, not the hell-touched warlock he returned to.
I really found Will's story to be the least interesting. Same. I gotta admit. I still don't think it's a bad one. I also really do like the tie-in with Tyranny of Dragons. That's like a really cool detail. I think Wyll as a character suffers a little from that, like, his whole questline you can basically do completely without him. Because like the only really quest you have is in the third act. And that's a really cool quest. But it doesn't really matter if you have Wyll with you or not. And I think that's kind of the issue. It's definitely not bad, it's just not as good as the others. He reminds me of Jacob from Mass Effect 2. I guess I will find out about Jacob from Mass Effect 2. And I think also, at least if I look at the companions I like the most, you just have like, there's like a major decision, and like there are moments of growth for the character. I mean, you have Gale, who's like a good character, but who's like right now really tempted to go for that magic artifact and to throw caution to the wind, and yeah, and you can really either support him in doing that or try to get him to abandon that path. And you kind of have the same with Shadowheart, and I'm kind of missing that a little with Wyll, so he's not that high on my list. This rewriting went wrong, but I gotta say, Wyll in early access was just way too pretentious. I don't know. We'll see more interesting in early access with him having his anger towards goblins, etc. True, but like that he went and like even tortured like people to find out more about his devil. I don't know. It didn't feel like a good character concept at points for me. Oh well. I'm still thinking about... the first one is if we want to pressure him into using the tadpoles. Right. I want to talk to Minthara. I just like how he sits on the throne. That kind of fits a devil warlock in my opinion.
Thanks for watching out for me.
I think it was just a little bit messy about like him portraying himself as a hero and also really believing he's a hero, and at the same time not acting like one at all. I mean, also fair concept for a fiend warlock, but it seemed a little messy to me back in early access.
I traveled with a Drow of Menzoberranzan.
Can't slow down.
Viconia de Vir. Do you know of her?
Viconia de Vir.
An exile from Lolth, much like myself. There is no love for her.
Ah, there is little love for her on the surface anymore.
Hey, Minthara.
I will never tire of sitting on dead men's thrones.
Nice. You know, it suits you.
Power always has. But I shall not get too comfortable here. We must be free if we are to rule. And to be free, we must destroy this cult. And Ketheric's co-conspirators along with it. I know one of them, all too well. Baal's bloodletter, Orin. To think, I thought her to be speaking for the Absolute. I worshipped that woman.
An old flame. I think she's going to kill us if we say that. Minthara has no boots. I also noticed that. I'm not sure why. So it's personal. Good. Let's take her down.
You make it sound so simple. She is the chosen of Baal, Lord of Murder, and one of the cult's founders. Indeed,
unlike us.
She is the one who indoctrinated me with the Absolute's lies.
Interesting. What do you remember of your indoctrination?
When I first visited Moonrise, I stood before the Absolute in awe. It was more of an idea than an entity. Pure love. Total power. Orin was by my side.
She still says that with some
She
fondness.
told me that God had chosen me to be a true soul, blessed and adored. Now I know that those memories are lies. There was no God. Orin held me down in a cocoon of flesh, while a mind flayer forced a parasite into my brain. And she laughed at my fear. I will find her. I will murder her. And I will smile.
You know, Minthara, we also still have some things to talk about with Orin. Let's do this together. Option 1. Once she's dead, the cult will need a new leadership. Perhaps we can take her place. How about no? I think she would definitely approve, because, well, it's about power and about control, and Minthara would love that, but no. She won't like the second option, but let's go with that, just due to role-playing reasons. We be heroes, the saviors of Baldur's Gate.
Let them think that.
Huh?
There is a short path from savior to ruler. A short and bloody path. I know it well, and we will walk it together.
Oh gosh,
But
she's amazing.
Baldur's Gate is a mere bauble. We have the chance to seize something much greater. Surely you see it. In killing
Calm your
Ketheric,
horses.
we fractured the cult's leadership. When we break the other chosen and claim their netherstones, we can take control.
Gosh, she's even worse in this aspect than Astarion. I want to get some approval, but there's only one answer Levin is going to give here. Madness. We need to eradicate the cult and the Elder Brain.
Madness would be to let the Absolute's potential go to waste. The power of the enslaved Elder Brain could reshape the world. We could reshape the world.
I wonder how much she's going to like us at the end of our adventure. I fear we could lose everything if we try to take control.
Nothing worthwhile ever came without loss. But together we have the strength to decide who loses, and to make sure it is not us. You are not stupid. When we reach Baldur's Gate and
Thanks.
face the other chosen, you will see that my way is the right one.
Mm-hmm. You know, maybe I changed your mind.
The Elder Brain is the only thing that has ever managed to change my mind. You're welcome to try. We are bound, then, to travel
Don't think we
together,
can turn Minthara
even
to
if
the
we
good
do not
side.
yet agree on our ultimate purpose. There is yet one thing about you that troubles me, though. Something I need you to explain.
You chose to incapacitate me rather than killing me when you eradicated
nice.
my minions. Why?
Cause I read that in a guide, was told by people in the stream, then I can play like a good character and still get you to come along? Wait, that's not an option? There's only evil Minthara and slightly less evil Minthara. Which makes sense. I mean, look at her past. It would be quite something if you could actually turn her to the good side. I didn't expect that. I guess number one is like the closest to what I just said. I thought that if I could free you from the Absolute's control, you might be a worthy ally.
So might any other true soul. And yet Gut and Ragslin do not stand with us under your protection. Sparing an
Very
enemy's life is a great
Good
risk.
point.
Even though I owe my life to the part of you that showed me mercy, it concerns me. If Ketheric had ordered me to
so
slay
cunning.
you to prove my worth, I would have. Or died trying. I should not lose myself in these thoughts of what might have been. I live. And I am grateful. I do have one more question, though, before we continue.
Why come to Moonrise, where the cult's power is
What
strong?
kind of cross-examination is this?
Why not walk away?
Minthara, I'm a paladin. You were one once too. I'm the hero here. I want revenge on those who did this to me.
Good. That is as it should be.
Hey, you approved.
Now, I am ready to leave this damned place whenever you give the word. The city awaits.
Let's conquer the city. Let's have a look. We are at neutral approval. Could have been worse.
Is it true you were a member of the
Hey,
Absolute?
Jaheira.
Our enemies spread like rub rot. Treat one patch, and two more bloom in its place. An elder brain, bound
It's
by
so
lost
bloodied.
Netherese magic, with servants of the dead three holding the chain. Reminds me of old times.
Oh, you've tangled with the Death Three before?
Extensively. Mind flayers
games.
too. But I never dreamed of seeing gods and illithids working in consort. It is most disturbing. But take courage. We have killed a man who could not die, and stripped the Absolute's army of its general. You have a nether stone, and you're on the scent of two more. These chosen have reason to fear you, and I would like to be at your side when you confront them.
Gosh, still remember the scene at the end of Catholic's battle when Jaheira always would leave during our first playthrough? It was so buggy. It was so frustrating. You want to join me? How many times has that happened in D&D? BBEG is immortal and still dies. True. Kinda tropey.
Of course. Falling foul of Ketheric convinced me that my grand adventures were behind me. That even if I survived, I should hang up my blades. But you convinced me otherwise. We ventured into darkness
Yo,
together.
Jaheira.
Now we've come out the other side. I'd say I'm feeling a little refreshed. When
You
we
like her
reach
as a
Baldur's
character?
Gate, there will be even darker paths to tread. I will follow you wherever they lead.
Alright, I see you at camp.
How does it compare to a shadow-cursed inn? With the Absolute's army gone, the Risen Road should be clear. We can follow it all the way to Baldur's Gate. There's a Harper's safe house in Worm's Crossing. Denthalen's Dancing Axe.
Such a nice
We
name.
do well to check in with them before entering the city proper. Beyond that, our course is yours to set. Find me at your camp, huh? I can remember how to take orders, as well as give them.
Nice. Another companion joins our team.
Without him.
Who else to talk to? I think the other harpers don't really say much.
To ask. There'll be plenty of dead to mourn when this is done. But songs to sing too.
Aren't we done? I hope we're done now.
While time is precious.
Ah yeah, you.